Thank you very much. It is great to be here. Durwood, God bless you for your service to the country. Give Durwood a big round of applause. The man that put pigs on the map, Oscar Poole, he made pigs popular. I'm going to tell you, he's a great guy and a great American. And Joe McCutcheon, who does so much for conservatism and just cut spending and stop taxes. Joe, good to be with you. Now, I've traveled the state for 9 months, and in the last month and a half, I've traveled almost every day. And I've introduced my best friend, Isakson and Chambliss, and so all of you have probably heard my introduction before. And I'm going to change it a little bit today. He is my best friend, but he's also your best friend. I'm going to tell you the reason why you've got to send Saxby back to the United States Senate. Our founding fathers put together a constitution and a bicameral system of government with a House and a Senate. The Senate was designed to be the body that would slow down a runaway train. That's why we take 41 votes can stop a bad bill from going through the Senate and never getting to the floor for a final vote. It's called cloture, or as you've heard it, it's called filibuster. But if the other party, either party, gets 60 votes, then the minority is irrelevant. They can do what they want, when they want. Nathan will tell you in the House, because of the way the Rules Committee is, they write a rule for every bill that prohibits the minority from having an amendment, and they're limited in the time in terms of what they can have them say. But in the Senate, as long as you have 41 votes, you have as much time to say as much as you want, and no one can stop you. Saxby Chambliss is not my best friend only. He's not just your best friend. He's liberty and freedom's best friend. We do not want a runaway single-party government running the Congress of the United States and a president who won't veto whatever they do. This election is the most important election in the history of my lifetime, and I think in your lifetime. Thank you. In Saxby Chambliss, you have a man who is the most influential person in the state on the state's #1 business, agriculture. You have a man who serves on the Armed Services Committee, who saw to it that when the Base Realignment and Closing Commission swept the country, closing military bases, Georgia gained. Fort Knox moved from Kentucky, is moving to Fort Benning. We got new missions at Robbins, new missions at Moody's, 2 new divisions going into Fort Stewart, and new missions at Kings Bay in Camden County. That doesn't happen by accident. In the tradition of Richard Russell and Sam Nunn, Saxby has delivered for our military. And last and most important, for our children and grandchildren. He served on the Intelligence Committee in the House. He served on the Intelligence Committee in the Senate. He's one of a handful of people who are every morning are briefed on those that would do you and I harm, and develop the plan to see to it that never, ever again is America attacked on its shore by the agents of terror. This election is for all the marbles, and I want you to turn out either by absentee ballot or in early voting or on Tuesday, December 2nd, and return your senior senator, Saxby Chambliss, to the United States Senate. Saxby.
Thank you very much, Johnny, and thank all of y'all for coming out today. Wow, y'all could be a lot of places on a Saturday afternoon, but for you to come out and show your support for our campaign really does humble me, and I just simply thank all of you. Thanks to all our state reps and senators here. These guys have just been tremendous to work with. They do a great job of representing you. Let's give them one more big hand. These guys have been ridiculous. And let me thank my good friend Oscar Poole for hosting us today. I have to tell you a quick anecdote. We love this barbecue. In fact, we love it so much that we left. I spoke at a dinner one night north of here, and Julianne and I were headed back home. And all right. Well, there's a Democrat in the crowd somewhere.
That's the Democrat energy bill.
Yeah, that's right. That's that nuclear energy we gotta have, Bubba. We'd have a little more power. We were headed back to Atlanta anyway, and it was late at night, and I said, call Oscar and tell him to stay open. And then, they didn't stay open an extra hour waiting on us, and had us play the barbecue when we came through this. I'll never forget that. All right, to my good friend Joe McCutcheon, I want y'all to pay attention to Joe today. All of you up here in this part of the world know what a big Georgia Tech fan he is, but today it's Georgia Auburn, and look here, in celebration of Georgia Auburn, there's sweater on. And to my great friends, Nathan and Sandra Deal, what special people they are, number one. I just can't overemphasize what a pleasure it was to serve with Nathan in the House, and now to have a good, strong, solid relationship with him between the House and the Senate. He does you a great job, and he's just an awful lot of fun to work with, but most importantly, he gets things done. And to my great friend Johnny Isakson, as he says, we're best friends, and I can't, again, overstate what that means to our state, to have two senators who not only get along as well as we do, but there are a lot of senators from even the same party that don't like each other and don't get along, and they compete. Johnny and I don't compete. We work for you. We know and understand that. And that's what makes our teamwork so great. Well, here we are, folks. We were having so much fun in the general election that we decided to extend this campaign for 4 weeks. Now we're about ready for it to be over with. We've got a little over 2 weeks to go. And everything that needs to be said about the importance of this election has been said. It is critically important, and the key to it is turnout. Let me tell you, the folks on the other side did a great job. The Democrats turned out on November the 4th and the days leading up to November the 4th. They're going to do that again. That's why it is so critically important that in this part of the state we have the largest turnout we've ever seen. Historically, people don't normally come back in big numbers for a runoff. We got to make this different this year because of the importance of this race. We are the one race of the 3 remaining Senate races that are to be determined by an election. The other 2 are being determined by counting ballots. This is the one that the world literally is focusing on. Yes. Because this race will determine the direction in which our country goes. We have a very liberal president-elect who is coming into office, and let's all pray for him every day, because he is going to need our prayers. We are going to need to pray that he does the right thing from time to time. But we all know that he campaigned on the fact that if you elect me President of the United States, I will raise your taxes. Well, Johnny and I are in a position to block that so long as we've got 41 senators there to vote to keep that from happening. He's also known to be very much a liberal. He's going to appoint judges to the Supreme Court and to every other vacancy on the bench that are extremely liberal. Those decisions that those men and women make are not only going to affect us. Just think about the Supreme Court decisions that were made 40 and 50 years ago that affect us every single day. So our children and grandchildren will be affected by those judges. He wants to come in and implement a health care system that's going to take away from you the right to choose your own doctor. He wants to put in a universal health care system that will mandate the physician that you go to, when you can have an elective surgery procedure. All of the things that we take for granted, they want to change in our health care system. Those are just some of the examples of the direction in which this particular administration is going to try to take this country. The decision on whether or not they're able to do that is in your hands and all other Georgians' hands. We've got the opportunity to make sure that we have that 41st vote. Now let me just say, in riding up here today, Johnny and I were remarking again with Marseille, what a beautiful part of the state this is. Julianne and I have absolutely fallen in love with North Georgia. We love to come up here because of the beauty of the scenery, but most of all, we love to come up here because of the beauty of the people that live up here. Y'all have been very generous to Julianne and me. I'm very humbled to serve you as your United States Senator. And with your help and your support and your turning out and getting everybody you know to turn out to vote for Isakson and Chambliss either before December 2nd or on December 2nd. We're going to have a great victory that night. Thank you. God bless you. May God bless our great